Radical.
Hot damn, this was an exciting game. Team Collier versus Team Clark will go down in the ages as one of the best all-star games, not just for basketball, but for every sport. This is exactly how it's done. This is 17 minutes here on this YouTube upload that just breezes by. I was thoroughly entertained by what I'm just kidding. I can't keep up. I can't keep up the line anymore. Man, this was trash. This was some smelly ass trash. This was trash after it's been in the 100-degree sun for several hours. That kind of trash. I am 6 minutes, 54 seconds into it, and I can't stand anymore. I'm third of the way through this, quote, all-star game, and even though the NBA all-star game wasn't that great either, you expect a display, a athletic display. You expect in an all-star game the best of the best to be out there on the court. You expect that. Well, my expectations were not met. I rarely ever catch any kind of anything in the WNBA. I've never watched a full game, but there's a lot of buzz around the WNBA now, mostly because of one player, and that's Miss Caitlin Clark, who actually is a pretty damn good shooter. She's easily, I would say, the best player in the WNBA. I mean, I don't know a lot of the other players in the NBA, so hey, maybe I might be wrong on that to some of you that actually, the 3 or 4 of you that follow the WNBA. And interesting fun fact, she brings in the numbers alone. Any positive numbers for the WNBA, it's because of Miss Caitlin Clark. She actually has the second highest across the NBA and the WNBA. I cannot believe this. She has the second highest jersey sales. Number 1, Steph Curry. Number 2, Caitlin Clark. Number 3, LeBron James. I still can't believe that. I read it multiple places, but I still don't believe a WNBA player is number 2. So it means there's a lot of crossover for just that one player. Sadly, though, as you can see from this all-star game, if you've seen this video also, or if you actually watched the game Saturday, you will see that that talent is on an island to itself. Because this is supposed to be the best of the best. The WNBA All-Stars. And it was so boring to watch. It was like a layup line. I watch other clips that didn't show the highlights. I saw the lowlights. And when you watch a game, it's not just the highlights. If the highlights are boring from the game, I can only imagine the torture anyone actually having to watch a WNBA game. I saw some lowlights. I saw some people shooting some threes, completely missing the fucking rim. It was Brick City, baby. They're building that league with a lot of bricks. So it was trash. It was terrible. Now, the WNBA has been around for 28 years. And because it is a trash, terrible league, because the players are far, far below, I would say even, hell, some high school teams, male high school teams. If you put any male high school team up against these players, they would just be destroyed. You would need like a whole team of Caitlin Clarks to compete. So that's one of the problems here is, you know, in some situations like, let's say, swimming, it's a little closer when you come to swimming and some athletic competitions between males and females. But when it comes to basketball, no. Males are so much better at basketball than females. And there's this one thing that people would be excited for. Well, 2 things actually would be the slam dunk contest, which is in the NBA All-Star game, and the fact that on an open straightaway, you might get some tomahawk slams. You might have some NBA Jam moments. Whoa, he's on fire, or something like that. You know, some dunks. Some dunks. But none of these bitches, even the tall ones, seem to be able to even do a one-hand dunk because women are less athletic, far more less athletic than men. Is that a shocking statement? It's just called reality, all right? Any of you out there that are big fans of WNBA that have a problem with that statement, I am stating facts. Any comparable washed NBA player would mop the floor one-on-one with any of these WNBA players. Even the short ones, and it's not even close, because of athletic ability. Hell, you even had Back decades ago, you even had somebody short like Spud Webb who could actually dunk. He was in the All-Star dunk contest, and he was a foot shorter than some of these females. So what can you do to make it more exciting? I don't know, lower the rim to 7 feet, possibly. Then you can finally get some dunks. And maybe Angel Reese, if you lower the rim to 7 feet, maybe she wouldn't be missing the goal and getting her own damn rebounds. She has a high rebound stat, by the way, because Angel Reese, if you know, she misses real close to the basket. She's good for maybe some half-naked pictures, but she's not really that great of a player. And yet, here's where I segue. Well, before I segue into what I want to finish off talking about in his commentary, we're going to go into the comments here, and we're going to go and you're going to see I added a dislike to this. Let's see if we can get it above the positives, because it needs to be low, because these bitches need to learn a lesson, which I'll get into in a moment, like I said, right after we go through some of these comments. What I'm going to talk to is probably going to be revealed in some of these comments. Oh, by the way, I guess, big story was Team Collier defeated Team Clark 151-131. And by the way, Caitlin Clark, I thought I saw her in this game, but she didn't score any points. So I guess she really wasn't in the game, or she got injured, or man, that probably took the wind out of the sails. The one big all-star in the WNBA, and you don't even get to see her in the game, right? Oh, we had some milestones. Nafisa Collier broke the scoring record in an all-star game with 36 points. Wait, isn't there some bench players in the NBA that actually get 36 points? It's not that big of a deal, but hey, she broke the scoring record. Look at some of these comments. Pay us what we are owed. After watching this game, they need less money. I never thought there could be a worse game than the NBA All-Star game, but I stand corrected. There can't be 17 minutes worth of highlights. And yeah, here's the big reveal on the upload. That's 17 minutes of highlights. More than half are interviews. That is really telling if you have a YouTube upload where the women are so fucking terrible, they have to fill it up with interviews. So there's really about 5 minutes of actual highlights in this All-Star game, which you think about it, again, that's displaying the best that you have, the best of the best in an All-Star game. I can only imagine how terrible some of the worst NBA teams, WNBA teams are to watch, take on each other. Let's see. Time to stop watching and support your local high school team. What a joke of a game. No defense, walk in and score, boredom. Sabrina Lonsko says that the All-Star game would have been more competitive if there was a longer break before the regular season resumes. Games start on Tuesday. So I guess 3 days of break is not enough for these players. Still waiting for the highlights. Is defense prohibited in the All-Star game? Yeah, it's not allowed. They don't allow it because, women are more fragile. They're very fragile, so we have to make sure that they don't hurt each other. Football season needs to hurry up. And one more. What the heck? Do they not know that we do not like all-star games where they don't play defense? The NBA does that, and it's whack. This game was whack. Last year's game was fire. Okay, so maybe last year's game was okay and they played defense. But I think the players were more concerned, and actually they came out with shirts saying something, I forget what's actually on the shirts, some shit about them, pay us what you owe us, they need to be paid more. And there's now a campaign out there on social media to push that these WNBA players make less than target managers. Hell, they should be paid from seeing that, less than target regular employees. Give these bitches $12 an hour for all that. Because, it's not high skill. They're not displaying the highest skill is what I'm saying, right? Especially in this particular game. But I fact-checked that, and the guy said they get paid less than a Target store manager at less than $80,000. But the average Target store manager makes $54,000. So only about a $30,000 off there. So is that a big problem? The fact that these women, and I apologize for calling them bitches, I guess, that these women, these women who don't seem to vibe with reality now are on a campaign to get paid more. That they should get paid more than a manager of a Target store. And I wish I had all the comments. I wish I had it to show you that they were great comments. They were saying, listen, a Target store gets more people coming into it than a WNBA game. And it actually takes skill, unlike Shodanese WNBA players, to run a Target store. And it went on and on and on, comparing Target to the WNBA. The one big difference is Target actually makes some fucking money. The WNBA is basically a tax write-off for the NBA. 28 years, and these women playing the games have not been compelling enough. They've not been skilled enough. People have not wanted to tune into these games because they have lost money. Now, they have a record year this year. Things are going better this year. And to tell you how bad things are, they're operating at over $40 million of a loss, even though this is the best year for the NBA. Again, because of Caitlin Clark. She's the reason they actually are not losing as much money as they lost in the past. Now, the fun fact is they poured so much money into advertising and things of that nature. And even though they've had a better year than the past, they're pouring more money into advertising to make people try to get them into the seats in a WNBA game. But this is hilarious to me, how these women are wearing these shirts right before one of the worst games you will ever see. They're putting, like, the lack of self-awareness that you put on these shirts saying, pay us more. That's like going into work at your job. Let's say going into work at your job, and you've been talking for a couple days about being underpaid and saying you need to pay me more. And then completely shitting the fucking bed when you get to work and giving a terrible performance at work. And you're getting customer complaints. Why would the store manager, let's say you're at a Target, why would the store manager of a Target pay you more money if you're fucking trash? All right? Now, if they would have went out there and they would have had an amazing game and people would have been like, damn, this is better than watching the WNBA All-Star game. Even if they can't dunk and they're not physically as gifted, they could have tried. They could have tried to play defense. They could have gave it their all, but they didn't give it their all. I guess because they're kind of going on strike already. Oh, that's going to work. I wonder if from here on out, until they get paid more, they're just going to withhold their skills or whatever low skills they have. You got to understand your negotiating position. If you are doing good and what you're involved with is doing good and the WNBA is profitable, then, hey, maybe you could say we deserve some of this profit you're getting. But 28 years go by, and there's zero profits for the WNBA. Now, the NBA is profitable, but the WNBA, they haven't made a dollar. They've lost money for 28 years. So this would be the best possible scenario as happens here, is all the players go on strike, all the players want to get paid more, and the NBA just says, fuck you all, we're just getting rid of the WNBA. These women are absolutely delusional. They say on the t-shirts, pay us what you owe us. Well, how about this? You shouldn't get jack shit because your play is shit, your league is shit. If the NBA didn't exist, we wouldn't have a comparison between the both, but we do. So I would say you should rethink your terms and considerations and going on strike, because how the fuck you gonna go on strike if nobody gives a damn if you go on strike? That doesn't make any sense. So they should reevaluate their situation, especially after the trash WNBA All-Star game. One final thing I'll mention is there's two of these delusional players. I guess they play on the Chicago Sky. I've never heard of them. With Angel Reese. And they are the Stud Buds, which is a pair of ghetto-ass looking lesbians. Now, if you typed in ghetto-ass looking lesbians, Google would probably spit these two pictures out very quickly. Imagine this. You played in the WNBA All-Star game. You think you're an all-star. So you have this high opinion of yourself. And these two are very short, too. So they can't even be seen as 7-foot WNBA players or near it because they're so short, right? They're so too short, too ghetto-looking lesbians. One's got pink-colored hair. One has a white wife beater on. I'm saying they're not dressing like they have any kind of money. They're not dressing like they're special. There are people that have far less money than these WNBA players that know how to dress nice at least. It doesn't cost a lot of money to dress nice or to put on some nice clothes before you go out to the club. But they look like they're escaping from just robbing a bank or something, all right? These look like two straight-up ghetto-ass hoodlums. And they show up just instantly expecting to be noticed and let right in like they're actually superstars. And the bouncer, who is black, I'll bring this up later, which is a good thing that this bouncer is black. This bouncer tells them they can't go through. They have to go to the back of the line, wait like everybody else, basically. And they say they're with Angel. We with Angel. We with Angel. We in the W. We in the W. They don't even say we're in the WNBA. They could have said like, hey, we're with Angel. We're in the WNBA. Is there anyone that you have that you could maybe be, go get Angel and tell us that? And they could, if they had WNBA basketball cards. Is there WNBA basketball cards? All they could have done was bring out something that shows and proves that they're in WNBA. Maybe a poster, maybe something of them in their gear. They would have had to show up in their gear and probably with their coach and their agent or something that actually shows records about how they're in the WNBA. But the delusion of many of these women is probably on that level. Probably on that level. And there's nothing worse. Fellas, you know what I'm talking about. There's nothing worse than a woman with delusion and a much higher view of herself than everyone else has. If you're a NBA star after the All-Star game, if you're, let's say a James Harden, you could have a bad game. You could be trash in the All-Star game. Many of them are. But you know what? You're getting in that club. If James Harden, Steph Curry, LeBron James show up at a club, even some of the lesser-known stars, maybe even like a Dylan Brooks. If a Dylan Brooks shows up, hey, you know what? 2 or 3 people's going to be like, hey, that's Dylan Brooks over there. Not one of these people noticed these two hoodlums. So how are you a WNBA All-Star if you're not a star? All right? That's the key difference between the NBA and the WNBA. If you wanted to have a WNBA All-Star game, you better do a fucking 2-on-2. It better be like NBA Jam. And only 4 people need to show up as WNBA All-Stars.